Welcome to the Goddess Boss Podcast, a place for women who want to get their goddess on and create their desires through reclaiming their sacred feminine power, deepening their self-love, and living wild and free. I want to show you how you can make big money and a big impact through awakening your inner goddess, caring for yourself, and appreciating your divinity. I am your host, Chris Britton, spiritual life and business coach and founder of Team Goddess Bosses. I am passionate about helping women like you come back home to their soul's radiance and power, and I have worked with hundreds of women around the world to leave the hustle and grind behind and create lives and businesses in flow. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode. As always, it is such an honor to be here with you. Today, I'm going to keep this one short, and this is something that is really just real and vulnerable for me in this moment, and I wanted to bring it to you. I've processed it. It happened a couple days ago, but I was just about to sit down to have an evening practice where I'm going to have a cup of tea, light a candle, and get into reading scripture and journaling on it. I've noticed that since having Noah, it's harder for me to do it in the morning because she's super active and I can't really concentrate. I really want to soak it up and absorb it. But a couple days ago now, I was on a prayer call and I had the honor of being on this call with a gentleman named Rex Crane. And if you don't follow him on Instagram, absolutely go and follow him. He teaches some really great stuff and is so connected to God and bringing this message forward. So on this prayer call, there was a bunch of other, entrepreneurs and other really beautiful people doing really big, impactful work in the world. And during it, he was just praying over everyone, asking for healing, just reminding everybody that God is always here. And if you ever feel like he is not, it's not that he pulled away, it's that you pulled away or I pulled away. And as this was going on and he was praying, I could just start to feel this heaviness, like tightness, almost like tingling in my shoulders. I'm like, well, that's really interesting. Like I seem to always have a bit of neck or back pain. I mean, I'm carrying around an almost 1-year-old all the time and my hips feel out and I'm just going through my own personal experience of moving my body, healing my body, feeling my body. So I just never experienced this type of burning or this sensation before. So he was kind of going around the room and, asking people if they wanted to share what's coming up for them. And at the time, I didn't really want to. So I was just kind of listening to people. And then something just said, share. Like, what is this sensation that's happening in your body? And I kept trying to tune in. And as I was tuning in, because I knew it wasn't something that physically just happened to me, like being tensed on the call or anything like that. It was a sign of some sort. So I connected in, and what I kept hearing was you need to express some of these fears and uncertainties you have with what's going on in especially Canada right now. And I didn't realize how much of a hold it was having on me, even though I research this stuff. I look for truth. I, pull and research everything and talk to people about it all the time and want to hear what they're hearing. So I get it. It's compounding. And I guess I'm not taking it to a place where I can process it. So what I was noticing was this was all heavy on my shoulders. So I unmuted and I said, Rex, I have something I need to say. This is what I'm feeling in my body. And I explained how most of the people on the line were down in the States and how being in Canada, it's a gong show. And I am fearful of our future here. I'm fearful on the way I see things going and what I have studied and researched on where I know it's going to go if we don't course correct it. I do believe we can course correct it. You hear me talk about this all the time. But right now, what I see happening, I'm like, oh, it kind of stings. It kind of hurts my heart. And now being a mom especially, I'm constantly thinking about what her future is going to be. So I expressed this and he grabbed his heart right away. And he said he totally understands and to remember that God does not come through CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. God's not coming through there. God's coming through when you're taking the time to connect, ask for simple things like, how can I relieve this pain? How can I relieve this heaviness? How can I see this differently? How can I meet people that are like-minded? You can ask God for him to show you what you can do today to have more fun and joy in your life. These are things I've been personally missing out fully. I've been bringing them in, but not fully, because I've had this wall or this heaviness on my shoulders for far too long now. So he looked at me and he said, Sister Chris, can I pray for you? And as soon as he said that, he said, hold your heart. And I just held it. I just started crying. All of this, and why I want to share this with you, is I feel like maybe you can relate to this at some level. There's something in your life that is feeling really full. Something is feeling heavy. And maybe you're like me, it's what's going on in the world, and you want to be there for others, you want to save others, you want to make others aware. Maybe you're not sure how to do it. Like some days I'm not sure how to do it. Some days I question like what is actually true? And all of it just compounds. And the more I learn and research, it just compounds more and more and more. Now I feel like I can't bring this to social media because there's a lot of judgment that happens. It can be a lot. And I'm not looping back into the story. I'm actually quite healed from it now and feel really, really good since that prayer, and where I've been shifting my time. Instead of being on social media, I've been shifting it into God, prayer, and into the word, which feels better for me. Has been keeping me anchored and aligned and allowing me to be open and doing the best work possible and be the best mom and best wife I can, because lately I've been feeling like I haven't been. So as he prayed over me, I could feel this tingling sensation leaving my neck and down my shoulders, all the way down my arms and out my fingertips. And I could feel the presence of God covering me. He asked that God protect me and guide me, that Jesus heal me, that I go and I look up certain scriptures, and I wrote them down, and I went back and I started studying them. And instead of asking God to fix me or heal me, right now what I kept hearing is, give back to him, worship, speak some of these scriptures out loud, pray out loud. These are all things I was doing internally because I was embarrassed, or it might sound weird, or I didn't really know what I was doing, but this was the message I kept hearing. And I know now, especially, if we do not take action on whatever God is giving us as a gift, we stall and stall and stall, and then our life becomes a rewrite of yesterday, which actually translates to dying. If we're living yesterday or last week, that's not progressing forward. That's not living. That's done, right? We don't need to go back there. Good or bad, something better is on its way. So we have to keep plugging in, taking that action, tuning in. So if this lands for you at all, and you found yourself swirling in social media, swirling in the news of the world, in whatever is right or wrong, getting sucked in, filling up on things that maybe aren't the healthiest, causing more, disconnect in the world instead of love. And he did remind me that fear is not of God, love is. Love will win. Now we know that. And all these things that we've seen in history, that we're seeing playing out right now, it does start to have a shift for good. At some point it does. And everything I have been studying from people that I feel are tuned in enough to know what's going on, come the end of summer, we will see a shift. So I just wanted to bring this really short and powerful message to you, as it's something I'm personally going through. I know these episodes land a lot for you. So take what you need from it. Whatever your spiritual connection is, just keep going back to it, especially now. Go back to it before you pick up your phone in the morning. Tune into it before you're, me, I'm guilty of this. I go to check my email or check my DMs, and then I end up in a scroll, or I end up in conversations all over the place. And I need to constantly put God first for me to be the best version of me, for me to heal properly, for me to see clearly. I have been quite foggy, not at my top of my game. somebody that is constantly a beacon and attracting people to me to say yes, to step into their greatness, their influence, their impact. I have to be on top of my game. And my game is wide open when I'm plugged into God. So if this episode resonated with you, come back to Instagram and let me know what your takeaway was. I always love to hear your shares, so thank you so much for taking that time. And until next time, go and honor yourself because you truly do deserve it. I'll talk to you really soon.
Thanks for listening to the Goddess Boss podcast. Please go to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a review. Make sure you head over to chrisbritton.net/goddess and sign up for your free goddess goodies like Awaken Your Inner Goddess Guide and Meditation. Now, go honor yourself, goddess. You deserve it.